right, so YouTube stream is connecting.
This TV's about to turn off in 45 seconds.
I'll come get it. Okay, both streams are connected, so you guys can do your sharing, and I'll come in and get that.
Yep, you gotta pull it all the way down. Oh, here it is. Share. I always do, yeah, you do. I do more options. I click on copy link. Now when you go back to your page, you can just put in, yep. Oh, thank you. All right, I'm ready. If you guys are tuning in, please make sure to share the live stream. We're going to be getting going here in a few minutes.
All right, guys, I'm just connecting the chat, and then we'll be ready to go. All right, guys, the show is all yours when you want it.
Welcome this week to Black Republican, Black Democrat. I might be your co-host tonight, Jamar.
And I'm your other co-host, A.K. Kamara. How you doing, bro?
Well, you know, I can't complain, and who the hell gonna listen? We ain't got but an hour, so I ain't got much time to complain.
I mean, we at least get, I don't know, a couple hundred people to listen to us.
Well, that's good, but, you know, I hope those couple hundred people give me $5 for all my woes.
Your woes?
My woes.
So, man, did you catch that Timberwolves game at all last night?
Of course I caught the game last night. I was so excited. Me, my family, my whole family, my nephew and I, and my mom and all that. No, we just sat around. We kicked it and watched the game. It was so exciting. I thought they would win. I had heard from another radio station that called in earlier that day and said that I thought that they would win. And I think that this is a good team. I don't know how far they'll get, but I think this is a good team. And the tenacity that they play with is something that you could take deep into the playoffs, you know. But because I thought last night that their defense before the game, I thought they didn't have a good enough defense.
Yeah, because they usually don't.
They normally don't, right? But last night they certainly showed. I don't even remember the cat's name already. The cat with the braids.
You're asking me. I don't know, Jack.
You're basketball.
I am not basketball guy.
See, well, you know,
I am local
and water polo, right?
I'm local bandwagon jumper. So like I know
and water
obviously
polo.
like Karl Anthony Towns.
Okay.
You know, Patrick Beverly.
He had braids. He was crying too. He was the one that ripped his
honestly,
shirt off and threw it into the stands like we had just won the championship. Oh yeah, we won the championship last night.
If Patrick Beverly or Ant walked past me, I literally would have no clue who they are. I know who Karl Anthony Towns is just because he's been around for a while and, you know, he's on everything or whatever. But my point is like I start to tune in when I hear that we're going to be in the playoffs. I'm like, okay. You know, so like I start listening to, you know, the sports talk station, K-Fan. And then I just, you know, kind of get up to speed. And I actually didn't watch the game. I didn't
watch the game?
No. I was on like Twitter and I was like on like NBC Sports, like play-by-play thing. And I just looked to see if the score was close. And I was like, I'll check back. And I was like, oh, hey, we won. Sweet.
Negro, please.
That's
you didn't watch the game.
No, I did not.
Negro,
I do have a Timberwolves hat. I got 2 Timberwolves.
Oh, so does Kevin Garnett. I mean, what the hell? Give me a break. No, you should have watched the game. You missed a good game last night. And today I'm wearing my Spurs gear because the Spurs play I think at 9 or so, whatever. So don't turn from this. But then, you know, do what you do. Use
DVR,
Twitter or whatever, you know.
yeah.
But make sure you tune into the Spurs. You know, I am a Spurs fan, and I think we're going to win tonight. And so I think the Timberwolves could end up playing us in the playoffs. Yeah.
Because they're both Western Conference, right?
We're both Western Conference, and I think I'm sorry. This Timberwolves played for the 7th seed last night. So
So they're 7th seed.
We'd be
Memphis.
like right now.
Memphis,
I think we'd be like the 9th or 10th seed, right? So we wouldn't play each other. I take the lie back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I take the lie back.
Again, I don't do sports ball, man. I can tell you more about football and the Vikings, but Timberwolves, I'm like, whatever. Same with the Twins. I'm like,
we don't have time for
games,
losing.
Man. There's a lot of games.
You don't have time for losing.
You know what, man? You know, we've talked a lot on the show about ways that people can support us. And one of the ways that people can support us is by becoming a sponsor. And we actually have a brand new sponsor.
No.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, man.
We got some money?
We got some money.
Ah.
We got a new organization that is going to be sponsoring us. It's a great new partnership. And for me specifically, it's an organization that has very family values, you know, right of center values. And so just want to kind of tell you guys a little bit about our new sponsor, TakeCharge Minnesota. They stand for Restoring the Two-Parent Black Family to making it a key priority, as well as embracing the 3 foundational values of family, faith, and getting a better education for our children. Take Charge Minnesota is actually releasing a film entitled I Am a Victor on May 6th, which chronicles the 2 cultural paths followed by Black Americans as a result of those 2 paths over the last 50 years since the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. You can find out more about the video, about the film, if you visit IamVictor.com. You can sign up, stay up to date on the latest news about the movie. And we actually have a trailer to show everybody.
What Martin Luther King did, that was pretty fast forward and just really changing the mindset in many people. The start of that, you're gonna treat a human being like another human being.
And that's a dream that I shared, and that's the road I thought we were on.
We are not victims.
Again, much thanks to our sponsor. If you yourself have a business or a product and you are interested in becoming a sponsor, please make sure to send us an email. You can connect with us through our link tree, through our Facebook page. You can hit us with a message, send us an email. Just get a hold of us, and we would love to kind of hear what you have. Now, if you want to be able to connect with us on all of our socials, please visit our link tree, linktree.com/BRBD. It's going to be able to connect you to our YouTube, our Rumble, Jamar's Twitter, so you can tweet at him, my Twitter, Instagram.
You can cuss out tweeting at me.
And maybe that's a good thing.
Tell the truth, shame the devil.
And my shameless plug, we definitely have our BRBD TikTok page that we put out content. But my personal TikTok page just hit 10,000 followers. 10,000 followers on TikTok.
Thank you, Mr. Drummond. We have other. Can you talk about the other sponsors, please? Say hello to the other sponsors.
Who's our other sponsor?
We have when you want to go to the stove, and you need some grits, you need some eggs, you need some milk. You might need the mail dropped off, or you might need a package to be picked up or delivered. Where would you go?
You're going to go down to the Weber Mart.
To the what?
The Weber Mart.
The Weber Mart. Kevin down at the Weber Mart. And let me tell you about our great sponsor at the Weber Mart. The dude is a hero. Seriously, he's a real hero. We couldn't find a video, but he actually saved a stab victim about a month ago in a dollar store parking lot that he was at. He actually helped save a victim. The victim lived because of our sponsor at the Weber Mart over there. So we are so proud to have as a sponsor the Weber Mart.
The Weber Mart. Yeah, make sure to check them out as well.
So when you need a knife or you need somebody to save you. Oh, too soon for that? Oh, sorry. Too soon. Too soon. Okay.
So, yeah.
The Weber Mart.
Again, one last thing here as we get going. If you guys could hit that share button, make sure that everybody that is friends with you sees what we're doing if you think that we do a good job. Also, make sure to hit our Patreon account as well. We've had a couple of new contributors, and we appreciate that a lot. Some people have even increased how much they contribute. So visit our Patreon. We have multiple levels. Whether you want to start, at $20 a month, maybe you want to go up to $300 a month. Please consider doing that.
You go up to $300 a month, and you're gonna be sitting in that third chair over there.
You will.
Okay, or we'll Zoom from your house or something. Okay, you increase that. I'm talking about you're gonna be sponsor.
And again, 100% of the contributions that come from becoming a Patreon subscriber go to produce the show. 100% of it. It doesn't go to my or Jamar's pocket.
It does not.
100% to produce.
To these folks that stand behind these cameras, getting on my nerves, and the folks be trying to powder my nose before the show starts. It goes to them. All those folks that work hard. I don't need no makeup. You need a little bit. I don't need none.
So tell me, man, how you've been, honestly, as someone that is a proud Democrat,
yes,
that proudly cast your vote for Joe Biden,
and will again, Uncle Joe.
How do you feel about this continued slide of his approval in the polls, man?
I don't worry about it. You ask me that all the time, and I tell you again, I don't worry about it.
I can understand a one-off or something, but we're talking about 5 consecutive months of sliding in the polls.
Again, when you guys started caring about how the redhead guy, the red-faced guy, the orange man, how he continuously, throughout his whole presidency, never had an approval rating above 50, then then we'll care. If this were, again, 2024, or even 23, I start to worry. But again, we see the great numbers with the job numbers. The problem is inflation. Folks like the president, but they see, hey, that the money that they're getting, because they're getting their checks have increased, but so as things at the grocery store, right? So folks pay attention to their pocketbook. So obviously they take that on the incumbents, whether it's city council, mayors, governors, i.e., House representatives, state senate. They take it out on those folks. So what has to happen is Democrats got to do a better job of getting out there saying what we've done for them over the last 2 years. And we don't do that. We do a better job of letting Republicans spread BS rhetoric about what we've done. And so we've got to get better at stop right now arguing amongst each other. There shouldn't be so much distinction amongst the ranks. We've got to get out and sell better what Democrats have done, because we've done a great job. President here I go. O'Brien. President Biden has done a great job, and so we've got to get talking heads out there, and we've got to get those folks that are in Washington out selling what we've done.
So the thing that I hear what you're saying, but even within the Democrat ranks, the problem is they see that it's so bad that they are starting to try and circle around just themselves. So there was an article that came out just today, CNBC, bringing out this poll that Biden now at 38% approval. And, kind of when you look through the metrics, you start seeing these other media stories that start spinning off from it. And kind of the new one that's starting to spin off is like you have this breakaway group of moderate Democrats. And it's funny because these moderate Democrats are all from states that had very close, either, Trump won or it was very, very close. Maybe Biden won. And they're starting to pull away from the narrative. Even today, or maybe it wasn't today, but Beto O'Rourke came out talking about the border and said, we got to do something. Like, whatever we're doing is not working. And with Title 42 ending, there's going to be a surge. And that's interesting to see break away from it.
But that's a bad. First of all, that's a bad example. I mean, he's from Texas. He knows about the border. So that's a bad example. And he's been talking about the border every political run that he has. He's been talking about the border, especially when Trump was in office. So that's a bad example. But it's a better example of how when he wins, Texas turns blue. It's already a state turning purple, and you see the numbers there for their incumbent president. Here's the other thing when you talk about numbers. Here's why I don't worry about it. You talk about a national polls, again, that when you only interview 1,000 or maybe 2,000 people tops, I don't worry about that. We go inside the numbers. Look at the numbers amongst the party. He's got great numbers amongst the party. And here's a bigger number. The better voting number you want is where's he at with black women? Where's he at with brown women? High numbers. Not as high as President Obama, but he has high numbers. So
that's because of Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson. I mean, that's going to pump his numbers up, man.
I mean, you do think didn't Trump put people on the high court to pump his numbers? It didn't work, but did he do that? Of course. So that's black women, the biggest voting bloc right now. So when I look at those numbers, when I see those numbers, and I'll text it to you after the show. When I see those numbers and he's still great amongst those folks, I don't worry, because I know that these people that are polling, they aren't knocking at the door at my grandma's house, because she doesn't have a cell phone. Even to the day she died, she didn't have a cell phone. She has a landline.
So you're saying you're not concerned?
Not at all. I've said that how many times? Not at all.
I mean,
I don't believe you talk about this red tsunami. I guarantee you guys don't pick up more than 1 or 2 seats. You still
or 2?
You will not take the House, because you need 3. You may pick up the 2 depending on where. I still told you Wisconsin is ours. I don't know. I highly doubt it. This red tsunami. I bet you another state didn't. You lost the last one, so I bet you another state did.
So this was something that I actually shared on Meet the Press. What's his name? Steve Kornacki or whatever.
Kornacki,
right? He's always like verbose and whatever. And he showed that the generic congressional preference ballot showed that there was a plus, I believe it was plus 19 advantage amongst men. And it was a swing from plus 19 for Republican versus in basically 2018, it was Democrat plus 2. So that swing, it was basically a 21-point swing. And so when you start seeing numbers like that, now women,
they're still like plus 15 Democrat, but they used to be like plus 18. So the shift has been hardcore towards Republicans. Now, I agree. I agree.
Where's the numbers that shows you that? Because what candidate right now has showed you these high numbers that say they're swinging towards? There's not one.
It's generic preference.
But again, bro, not even the candidate right now. You put up candidate against the president, they don't beat him. And again, what I talk about is inside the numbers. When they're polling internally says that the president has low numbers, that's when they should start worrying about it. But amongst his base, which is what you guys do, right? You have to turn out your base, all right?
Oh, yeah. No,
and independence. So right now, it's too early to tell. Folks are talking about inflation. If the inflation was not high.
We're about to have a recession.
We are not.
We are about to have a recession. And not.
Oh, yeah.
And remember, I told you this.
Oh, yeah.
This was like 3 months ago. I said, we're going to see prices get higher and higher and higher. And, of course, the Biden and the Democrats, you guys are, everything is Putin's fault. It's like everything.
Well, we deal with reality, and I know
everything is Putin's fault.
up until what annoys me to the highest level of festivity is how you guys are so blind, especially pre-Trump. You guys looked at things, the government didn't create numbers, and then you guys came up with these great numbers that Trump created, these jobs for black folks and all for until now, right? And so you guys look at the glaring realities. You guys close your eyes to those things because you only want to see yourselves win because you don't do a good job at winning. Stop. Take a chill pill. Let's wait. Inflation numbers will go down. Excuse me, bro. I don't know how. Do I need to text you? Economics is 101 tells you that the inflation. We even talking about how when you look at the communities, how they aren't. And when you go to your local corner stores, you go to your local goods store, whatever you need to be, the numbers aren't extremely high around there. So when you talk to black folks, you talk to brown folks, they aren't turning their back on the Democratic. Well, they're turning on if they're mad at particular Democrats. But when you ask about the president, they remember what the guy is doing. I bet you. Put your money where your mouth is and bet the steak dinner.
Oh, I'll bet the steak dinner.
Bet.
You want to know what my bet is? My bet is that not only are Republicans going to flip the Senate.
Yeah, right.
They're going to flip the House.
Uh-huh.
We're going to have both the House and the Senate.
Yeah.
I think that we will end up with somewhere around 245 House seats, and we're going to be sitting at like 53 Senate seats. And Republicans are just going to be slamming the brakes on everything that Biden does until either DeSantis or Trump, comes in 2024, baby.
DeSantis has about a better chance of winning as you do, and so does Trump.
I mean,
only 7 million people. Only 7 million people showed you that. Look, your party can't win. You guys do a bad job of outreach, and so tonight's guest, honestly, is somewhat of an enigma of what your party should be. But they don't get behind the right people. They run inept candidates that will lose. You don't win statewide. You won't win here nationally, and you won't win statewide here. So that'll be a problem, and that will show you the trajectory that will happen nationally. You talked about this before you became the co-host. You sat in that chair talking about Trump and what the red tsunami. You sounded like what was the loser chairman name? Oh, Jennifer. Yeah, you sounded like her. She started that red tsunami stuff, and then what happened to her and what happened to the party. Oh, okay.
That's not even what I said.
Oh, you did say that. You did.
I did not say it'd be a red tsunami in 2020.
Oh, okay. Was that not the theme that the Republicans touted out, this red tsunami?
I said I think that Trump's going to come over, but I said I don't know because there's a lot of stuff that got changed with the election laws.
Oh, and then you guys are so worried about election protection all of a sudden. 2016, you didn't worry about that. Now we're so worried about election protection.
Because everything changed.
Oh, because we got our asses whooped. We're going to make sure that you vote fairly. We've been voting fairly. That's why we whooped your ass, and that's why we're going to do it again. When y'all pull out all that stuff, it doesn't work because you only motivate us. Keep it up. You only motivate us.
You know what? If that's how you feel, but we are winning more independence with that message.
Oh yeah, right.
Again, the Democrats will lose.
Oh, well, show me the numbers and show me a national candidate that's got high numbers with independents. Show me a local candidate, Republican, that has high numbers with independents. And I'll kiss your behind on Lake Street.
We'll bring it up the next show for sure.
Yeah, please.
I can show you the independents have been abandoning.
Yeah, right. Okay. Let's introduce our tonight's guest that won endorsement over the guy that sat in that very chair only a couple months ago, Royce White. Tonight's guest, we bring in the endorsed candidate, CiCely Davis. Welcome, baby. How are you?
Thank you for having me.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
Thank you. It's good to be back.
No, I'm glad you're back though, and I mean what I say. I think that the problem though is your party does not support candidates such as yourself. They tout out these inept candidates and they end up losing all of them, especially the black ones. But I'm just saying, Lacey. But the fact that you won endorsement, congratulations. I think the more important question is what's next.
So now the work begins, and we head towards November 8th, and that's the focus. There are 717,000 citizens that I'm concerned about and that I stand shoulder to shoulder with who actually, they need a champion and they need a leader who actually cares about the issues. And you brought up something that's really, really important and that they absolutely are. You were speaking in truth that inflation is absolutely a focus. We might have somewhat of a disagreement as to the source of the inflation, but at the end of the day, you were telling the truth. The number one concern still remains as it was when I was here the first time, public safety. And when I say public safety, what I'm talking about is crime. Let's call it what it is. It's crime. And then the third, amongst people who actually vote like you, is education. So public safety, crime, inflation, and education are the three issues that the constituency here in CD5 are most concerned with. I'm actually having conversations with people who vote like you. I'm in their living rooms, and these are the three issues that come up the most.
When you say vote like me, you mean smart voters. Right. Right.
Cultural Democrats that are delusional.
Yeah,
that's
wouldn't be me.
I'm talking about the people. Yes, I'm talking about liberals and independents. I'm talking about people I'm talking about the constituency who.
Well,
is
how's
the
that
bulk
working
of
then?
CD5.
Because I brought that up a moment ago. How your party doesn't do outreach in black and brown communities. Well, they will come September. They'll do that, and maybe June. So how's that working for you? I mean, are you out in the black communities yet? Bridge building, try to say that real fast. Bridge building, and trying to, seriously trying to be a champion. I'll say it time and time again, and that's why I made the notion a moment ago. Folks are mad at different particular Democrats and not necessarily at the party. Sometimes what the party does, but I think they're more pissed with certain individuals, right? So how does a CC Davis, who looks like us and sounds like us, peel off pissed off Democrats and independents from Ilhan that have a problem with her? Let me just keep it 100 with you. Voters like me who know her personally, don't particularly care for her. I say it loud and proud and publicly and behind her back, doesn't particularly care for her, but tend to vote for her because the candidates that the Republicans tout out attack her personally. Never tell me what they're going to do for that particular district, my district where I can vote for, or anything, right? Just come out and attack her personally. What's going to be different with CC? Now you got the endorsement. The party says they're behind you. How do you peel off black and brown folks that look like me, you and all of us, but you know what I'm saying? Democrats that are pissed off with Ilhan, but do I trust a Republican?
Right. I think that this time it has to be done differently. And what you're speaking to is right on, because that's what I'm hearing in liberal living rooms is what I'm calling it. The simple fact is that Ilhan Omar is in office because she was voted in. That makes them right now, she is the people's champion, right? And so if I come in and I'm attacking their champion, I don't get very far. It's not smart politics. Right. In fact, it's going to result in the same result we had last time. Right now, this should not be a partisan election because people are hurting and businesses are hurting. What people do understand, they might not understand truly how our tax system works. They might not truly understand the very definition of inflation, but what they do know is that groceries are costing $30 and $40 more per bag, right? They know that they're paying $40 and $50 more at the gas pump. Correct. They know that they're having to be more creative in how they're going to afford the electives in their household. Like, how am I going to afford the piano lessons and the gymnastics, and how we're going to afford the, taekwondo fees and hockey equipment, right? And so that's what they understand.
Well, you ain't in liberal living rooms talking about hockey.
Well, I'm saying
black folks. No, I'm just playing.
Minneapolis and the 5th Congressional District is not only black.
Well, white Democrats are talking about hockey, but black folks look at you like, what?
Yeah. But they're being creative. They know because the the household debt is increasing, right? There were people who, when they received stimulus checks, right, were able to put a little something away. They're tapping into that. And so people are worried and they're hurting. Businesses, people who lost businesses in the summer of 2020 haven't been able to recoup them, right? And so we've lost businesses. We're losing corporations. We're losing businesses, large and small. These are the things that are happening. These are the things that people are concerned about. That's not a partisan issue.
It isn't, but how do you change that,
Yep.
though? I mean,
Yep.
Republicans do it
You're-
again. They
yep.
do a better job of saying
Yep.
what Democrats aren't doing.
Yep.
But then help Jamar.
Yep.
You know, I don't vote Republican.
Right.
But if I don't care for Ilhan, help me change my vote to vote for you.
Right.
How do you get rid of my woes? I'm poor. I'm black.
Right.
I might be uneducated, or I might be worried about the education system. Stop telling me what's wrong.
Yep.
How do you help me?
Absolutely. So let's talk about business. What we're going to do is let's stop the mass exodus, right? We want to get businesses that are here to remain. We want small businesses to be able to open or reopen. So let's give incentives to businesses. Let's lower taxes. Let's lower property taxes so they want to remain and can afford to stay. What that will do is it will increase confidence. When we increase business confidence, businesses and business owners begin to hire. When they start to hire, they're able to grow. When they're able to grow, they're able to hire more people. And so we get that revitalization back. When it comes to crime, we need to, as the constituency, 57% said they want more police presence, not less. We fund the Minneapolis Police Department and we increase that. We get police officers back so that there's enough to actually fight crime. And we change and we deal with reform, the actual issue of reform, right? Not just the word, not just a talk, but really talk to the people and what reform actually looks like, with common sense solutions to crime. And when it comes to education, this one's really tough for me because I take it so personally, because parents who don't have an opportunity to send their child to schools that are succeeding, right? We need to create vouchers so that parents can afford to send their children to schools that actually are succeeding, who have great literacy rates and great graduation rates. No parent, if you give them an opportunity to have a school that's winning, or a school that's achieving, will choose a school that's failing. And so we need to make sure that there is money available. How do we do that? Because you're always asking why, and I like that about you. I think the Minnesota Department of Education is the problem. This is about the Minnesota Department of Education, the Department of Education to me is just it's an organization of bureaucrats. And all they do is measure. They just send out metrics, right? But how does that actually fix graduation rates and literacy rates? It doesn't. And so it's amazing to me that an organization has been created to just put out metrics and doesn't actually achieve for our children. So I think that if we actually went at teachers' unions, erase the Department of Education and use that $9 billion surplus to actually give that money to parents and say, send your child to the school that you choose, we can have a better future.
So one of the things that we often talk about on the show is how you are able to kind of connect that conservative ideology, conservative belief system when you're sitting down, like you said, in these liberal households. So when you're talking about these are some of the solutions that you want to do, I'm curious, like, what kind of pushback are you getting from people?
Sure. So again, those three issues are not partisan issues, right? Everyone, regardless of how they identify politically, they want their children to have a strong future. So they want a quality education. Everybody wants to feel safe in their neighborhoods, and everybody wants the money that they earn to go to where they dictate, whether that's 401k savings or put away for the future, right? That is not a partisan issue. And this is why I'm saying that this election doesn't need to be partisan. And it's not that I compromise on my conservative values. By all means, I do not do that.
I was going to say, ooh.
Yeah, no. Let's not do that. Let's not do that. But I think, what's happening is that people respect a leader. And so if I walked up to you and you know that I'm conservative and I start waning and I'm wishy-washy, you're all over me. I know how you are, right? You're all over me like white on rice. So that's not going to work. People are not stupid. People are smart. And what they can respect is someone who has a position, who stands in it, and is interested in being a leader. Again, there are 717,000 people in CD5. We dropped Hopkins. That's who I'm concerned with.
Wait a minute. Run that number again. How many people are there?
Yes,
How many constituents?
707. We dropped Hopkins. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, 717,000.
You just never hear a candidate drop the whole number.
The whole
So
number.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
all right,
You got
all
to
right.
know. You got to know your
You do,
district.
absolutely.
You got to know.
Yeah.
But these are the issues. So, what's the message? I'm not asking you to vote R. I'm not asking you to vote D. I'm asking you this time to vote C.
I like it.
You know?
I like it.
You know
That's
what?
what it is this
I hope
time.
your team is listening because that was kind of dope. That was kind of dope. What about debate? Are you willing to debate? I mean, I don't know why I'm asking you. I know I see I know you. Debate. Will you debate Ilhan?
Absolutely.
Have you got? Are you guys trying to arrange any? Are there any forums coming
I
up?
would love. I welcome that. In fact, Ilhan, if you're listening or watching, I would love to debate you. Let's sit down. Let's discuss the issues.
If you when Roy sat in this chair, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna behave. I just didn't think that the candidacy was, serious. I know he's going on to the primary and maybe, how far. But I don't think that he talked about things that folks really cared about. He only was talking about the Federal Reserve the whole hour. How did you beat him?
By just that. Talking about what the people actually care about. I did the work.
He didn't do the work?
I called delegates, over 500 delegates, right? So this is before they were actually delegates. So before they were actually elected as delegates, I made phone calls.
Made a phone call.
I did Zoom calls. I met people in person. I sat down and had coffee. I literally did all the work, and I made sure that people knew who I was. I gave them opportunities to question me, to grill me, to make sure that I was versed and prepared to represent them and be their representative. And I wanted them to be confident in their vote in me. And so I showed up. I was confident. And the results, really strong, resounding 75% of the vote in my favor.
I wanted to ask you this. So I saw you at the Lincoln Reagan dinner like the day before your convention, right? And my feeling and my vibe always, as a dude that understands the political machine and understands just like how the process works, I could tell that you were doing the work that is required, which is, to be quite honest, it's not a difficult task. It just takes time, contacting people, setting aside time. And so for you, you do have a primary, and Royce does have name ID, and he seems like he's going to push full steam ahead. Is the party, like, how confident are you that the party is going to truly be able to help you fend off, a primary battle? And then secondly, are you going to be concerned about the primary, or are you going to be focused on getting the message out and having conversations with the people? I know it's a super straight, like, very candid question.
It's
but
good. You should ask it. I'm focused on November 8th and Ilhan Omar. That's my focus. Am I confident about the party? I'm confident in me. I'm confident in my ability to represent CD5. I'm confident that the entire constituency of CD5 will, if they meet me, when they meet me, understand that finally someone's here who's truly interested in representing them and to take their issues to be heard and dealt with and solved and resolved in Washington, D.C. That's already happening. Royce will always be able to call up KARE 11, Fox News, Sports Illustrated, what have you, because of his NBA affiliation. That's something he has. That's an advantage, I understand. But what actually resonates has nothing to do with Federal Reserve. It has nothing to do with, and he's right about globalism. Let me acknowledge, he's absolutely right. But what are they actually talking about? Kitchen table issues.
And can I give a but to? No, that is the but. You're absolutely right. We're talking about kitchen table issues.
Right.
Globalism. the candidate that I'm working with support now, that you're doing those questionnaires and you get those what do you call the folks? What's the question? The economic. I mean, I'm sorry. Global folks. What do you call them? What's those little whatever they're called, right? Environmental. I'm sorry, environmentalists.
Environmentalists. Sure.
You get those questionnaires. Black and brown folks, our environment is different. We're dodging bullets. We're worried about keeping lead out of the paint in your house or out of your drinking water, different things. So I think we look at things differently. So that's what my problem was, though, with him, is that he's refusing to focus on what's ailing folks, right? And you don't necessarily have to be black, but there's still kitchen table issues that ail every person of, no matter what color, that he doesn't talk about. He talks about Federal Reserve, globalism. Great.
Yeah, like here's my thing is that, much like I said on the show, I think that those issues are very, very important.
Of course they are.
I personally think that Royce is a very, very smart person.
I do too.
But I am a Republican. I actually believe in the endorsement process. If there's a really terrible candidate that's endorsed and it just goes against my belief system, I'm not a machine. It's not going to be automatic.
Do you hold your nose and vote anyway?
No.
You don't?
2016, I did not vote for Donald Trump, man, because I just couldn't do it.
But I don't blame you. I couldn't do it either.
But in 2020, I did.
Yeah, wow. In 2020, I couldn't do it either.
So, one of the things that I am curious about.
Sure.
The RNC's had this push talking about opening up actual field offices in urban areas.
Yeah, right.
No, for real. And there's been 18 opened up so far in the country. 18.
In the country, yes.
Like in Atlanta, right? Like they're going to these areas. So
Minneapolis ain't happening.
I'm wondering, like, have you heard anything from the RNC about opening up an office in Minnesota that you could talk about?
No, I can tell you this, that there is interest in not giving up more territory. And what I mean by that is there is a new interest, and they're looking at inner cities, not coming back to a Detroit and a Philly and a Minneapolis and a Chicago. I think that when you think about what the trend has been, right? We can't continue to retreat to, all Republicans can't fit in Arizona, Florida, and Texas. We're just giving up all these territories. But the inner cities are at play. There are a lot of really great Republicans in these inner cities. And so they're not interested in just losing our cities to Democratic rule. Forgive me, Jamar.
No.
But there is.
You're right, I can't tell.
There's also a need. There's a need for connectivity,
yes.
right? So this time around is what I'm saying is, this is a theme of it's different this time. And all I mean by that is this is time truly for some collaborative leadership. And I think that we could see a really beautiful thing this time in that we really truly can see the party coming together. And I, for one, am really excited for the opportunity to be that kind of leader for this constituency. I just want us to get better. I know about the fantastic and believe in the stardom of Minneapolis and its people. What's so great about us is that we're innovative, and we have theater and sports and art, and we are inclusive, and we have all this diversity. But what sets us apart from other cities is that we're also clean and we're really safe, right? So we kind of have this thing going on with us, and there's a lot of talented people. I want that back. I want Minneapolis back the way it was, and even better. I think we can be a real, true leader, but we haven't had it. We haven't had that representation, and more so than anything, I'm going to stress this again, people are hurting, truly. They are truly hurting. They can't afford that gas, and they're trying to figure out, okay, maybe instead of taking that car, why don't we just drive 2 cars and we'll carpool? And they're having to be really creative to afford life. On average right now, the average American is spending $300 more a week because of groceries and because of gas alone. So this is taxing, this is hurting people, it's hurting businesses. That hurts all of us, Democrat, Republican, and everyone in between.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
So you guys both hit on the point that I wanted to ask you too. Your party doesn't do outreach, so they don't, and they won't, unless they put a black guy, unless you come help them. Does the party support you? And because I think you asked a great question. You know, how will the party help you stave off, you know, the Royces and any other primary opponent? You know, do you feel that the party really supports you, or are you their black face that they need to try to take down another black face?
That's a fair question, and I get it. I get the source of that. Truly, yes, the party supports me.
You feel that the party does?
I really,
Okay,
truly,
cool.
truly do.
All right, all right.
Under this new leadership,
David Hahn? Somebody.
It's Hand, but that's there is a concerted effort truly to recognize where the party failed last time, and so they can improve upon it. So he has been supportive of me, but so is the party. And so it feels great. I'm excited for
That's my sister.
Well, bless your heart, baby. That's too bad. And she looks like you, too.
Well, I hope so. I mean, she's my younger sister.
It ain't like you had her. She's your sister.
Yeah.
We look very similar.
No, when you talk about public safety, AK and I agreed up until last week, and then we kind of deviated about some part of it when it came to a mirror lock. Last week, they decided that they weren't going to press charges against the cop that executed him. They said that there was enough evidence. You will be faced with things like that if you win. You know, you'll have constituents that will want you to fire this cop or fire whomever. If you're the incumbent right now, I've heard what Ilhan said. She's all for the execution of police officers. You know, I'm being facetious, but we've heard how she feels, right?
Right.
So, what would you do if you're in her position right now? You got a ton of constituents that are pissed off that this cop didn't get charged. You know, how do you comfort them? What do you say? What do you do to change things?
Yeah. Well, first and foremost, you start at the beginning. You acknowledge that someone lost their life, right? Because we respect life and we respect the fact that someone lost their life and that impacted a whole lot of people.
Sure.
We need to start at a base of sensitivity, right? I think that we need to look at a case by individual basis. We need to look at the evidence, and then we need to assess accordingly. I think that so often we rush to judgment because it's high emotion. Stay with me here, because AK, you said something when you talked about, or was that you? When you talked about the red, it was AK. You talked about a red Senate and a red Congress. Okay, this presents a huge opportunity. I'm gonna tell you why. I really truly believe that right now America needs Republicans because. Hear me out. I think that when I think about what Tim Scott tried to push for the Justice Act, that legislation, it took apart and it was honest about, hey, there was a loss in trust between police force and the public. We need to rebuild that. There was a loss of trust amongst citizens and police departments, and so we need to look at chokeholds and the impact. We need to look at how policing is done in this country, and so I think that was such a great nonpartisan kind of policy. And so the reason why I'm bringing up red Senate, red Congress is because we can reintroduce those things and deal with public safety crime at a federal level. And that's really important. Locally, we can do what we can, right? Congress is the purse strings of leadership in this country. But on a federal level is where we can really have some real change. And so we start by acknowledging that someone lost their life. We don't want that to happen again. Let's look and see. Let's assess the case as it is. Let's not jump to conclusions. Let's really take the time to recognize that we need some change. Is it a matter of technology? Do we need better technology? Is there a need for retraining on how we de-escalate situations? Do we need to bring beat cops back so that they understand and know who's who on the streets? We have all this opportunity and all this room to fight crime, change the way policing is dealt with in this, and then build some trust within the communities, within police force and the constituency. And I think we should pounce on that.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
You are a black woman.
What? Yes. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
The Senate just confirmed the first black woman on the Supreme Court. Give me your thoughts about how you feel. Like truly, for you, did you feel that like part of it was good? That, yeah, there's a black woman and you identify with that? Or did you say, I don't really care about that aspect? Like, I'm genuinely curious, like how that feels for you.
So obviously, wanting diversity in every aspect of rule in this country. So from that standpoint, great to see. The optics is great, and things like that. I think what was so tough for me is that it was so politicized, right? And
Aren't they all?
Yeah.
Aren't they all?
I think that when you was his meaning Biden, his announcement about I'm going to put the first black lady on the Supreme Court, it's not necessarily a bad thing. I think that when I think about Thurgood Marshall and Clarence Thomas, that was about really getting there through merit. And so I think that I wanted to make sure that her merit would never be questioned, right?
Only one that's questioning is your party.
So
right. I think that
but
I wanted.
I hear what you're saying.
I don't
there.
want her legacy to be questioned.
Yeah.
So if she's just plugged in or chosen simply because she's black, which, by the way, if a case goes to the Supreme Court and someone is put in because of their color, that's actually against the law. They would rule against it, but nevertheless, I think that's all I'm saying is that
Sure.
her legacy wouldn't be questioned if her color weren't raised, and it was. It was a part of an issue.
Only y'all do that.
I don't want her
only y'all do that.
Oh no, it's not a y'all thing.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Only Republicans are doing that because black. Go ahead.
But I truly wonder, like,
God, I love being here. By the way,
did it make you feel anything? So for
It
me,
should have.
I'll say this: when Obama was elected, right, as a black man,
How'd it make you feel?
angry. And you want to know why it made me feel angry? Because of how many people that I met that told me it's time, and regardless of anything else, we need a black president.
Yes. What
me angry
what
because,
about
again, the
that
question
bothers
is-
y'all when a person speaks their truth in reality? When a black person says for hundreds of years,
I'm talking about white people.
even when those woke white folks say it, what's wrong with people acknowledging that we need color in this country?
Because, Jamar, it cheapens.
It does not.
It cheapens whether or not that person achieved it through merit. Now, people that don't care about meritocracy, I can understand. But there is a large swath of people that do care about meritocracy. If the only reason that I had this show, okay, just hear me out. If the only reason that I was on the show is because you said, I'm going to pick a black male from North Dakota whose name is Arabic, I'd be like, well, I guess I was on the short list of a very small pool of people. And if someone said, no, I picked you because I think that you will do the best at this job. And part of you being black, but I'm also white, right? So, like, it still opens up a very large point. And so that's why, for me, asking you, I'm just genuinely curious, am I the anomaly?
Yeah.
Or, like, was there a part of you that felt proud that because there was a black woman, but all the other negative things you don't like?
Yeah, I think that, again, I want someone to be put in because they were just simply the best person for the job, right?
She is. She's a federal judge that's
Right.
been appointed time and time again. So her merit is unquestionable. She's eminently qualified. And it is annoying that Republicans, you guys kill me how we don't do identity politics. Well, but we need a black person. Till you need a black person. Stop that. It is okay for there to be the first male, the first female, the first person to do something. I don't understand why y'all don't get that. It's okay for you to want.
But why did Biden have to announce it?
Because,
That's the
wait a minute.
problem. He should have kept that to
Wait a minute.
himself,
Oh, he should have said it to him. Oh, I'm on elected black person, but I don't want to say nothing. So
Yeah,
wait a minute.
Because
so
if he would have
did
nominated her,
Reagan,
no one could at least
excuse
say
me,
that.
Well, you were little, but did Republicans or anybody tell Reagan to be quiet and not announce that he wanted a black man? Did he wanted a black man on the high court? He did not. It's appropriate for you, dog, when there's change, when you have to make laws to treat people the same, to treat people fairly, And then when there's an action that elates a certain people because they see folks that looks like them in these positions, it's what happens.
Okay.
There's been white women.
Reagan didn't say, I'm going to nominate the first black. He didn't because that already.
Oh, but it was okay that he thought. It was okay that he thought. It was okay that he thought. Oh, let's elect. I'm gonna put a Negro in the high court, but I ain't gonna say it loudly. That makes a difference. How does that make a difference, though?
Reading the biography about how that decision was made of who he wanted to have, there was a question of like the optics would be very bad.
You don't think that he wanted a black man on the high court?
I don't think that
Thurgood was gone. You don't think that he? Then, bro, you are fooling yourself.
But that's my point.
But you fool yourself.
If
you don't
Biden
think that
wouldn't have said it. If he wouldn't have came out.
I'm glad that he speaks. It's bullshit that you guys want people to be quiet about how they feel.
Quiet.
Trump did. But did you tell Trump to do it either time?
Okay. Did Trump say?
He said, I wanted a conservative person that thoughts like me that would end Roe v. Wade. Yes. That's appropriate for you?
Yes.
So it's not appropriate for me to say that I want a black person that looks like me on the high court.
No.
Bro, y'all are so damn twisted, it's pathetic.
Y'all
are some twisted folks. How is it? Explain to me mundanely like there's a difference from someone saying, I want a male.
Ideology.
Wait a minute. Excuse me. Let me finish, though, bro. Let me finish, bro. Explain to me the difference of Trump saying, I want a female conservative on the high court that can overturn Roe v. Wade versus my man saying, I want to elect the first black woman on the high court because it's high time for it to be done. Explain to me that. I'm going to shut this off.
Yeah. Because there's never been a black woman. There are already females.
No shit, Sherlock.
There's already females on the Supreme Court. So by saying that, you're already saying, I'm not going to be the first of this thing. I'm just want to pick someone that has this. And there was men on that short list. He didn't say, I'm only going to pick a woman. So that's my issue.
Actually, he did.
No, he did not.
Okay.
You tell me. Okay. I said I'd be quiet.
He had men on the short list when he came out, and they asked him, "Have you what's your list look like?" And he's like, "It's probably going to be a woman." Right? He didn't say, I'm going to make sure I'm bad at doing job for First Nations, that we have a female. That's what my issue is, man, is that if you do that, then you are already saying that I get what your aspect is. You want to hear that because it makes you feel like this person, in this case Biden, really does care about what black people are feeling. My issue is when you do that, why don't you get them to feel that way, that when you announce your nominee, people would still feel the same way, wouldn't they? If he came out and said, here's my nominee, and it happened to be a black woman, and he knew and all of his inner circle knew.
You and everybody else would have criticized him and said, oh, he thought about that the whole time.
Fine. But that's
so fine. You can't have both ways. Cece, you can't have both ways.
Yeah,
so I don't get how you don't. Well, I do because you're conservative and maybe your base. You worry about your base, but I don't get how a black woman is not proud that a black woman is. So I'm gonna ask you a question. You're not a lawyer, right?
Right.
Oh, you're okay. So what if you were on the short list to be Tim Walz's gubernatorial? I'm sorry. What the hell is it?
Lieutenant governor?
Thank you. Damn. Can't think tonight. You were on the short list to be his lieutenant governor. He calls you tonight and says, I want you as my governor, lieutenant governor. You say no? Politics aside, whether you dislike the guy or not. Do you say no? Exactly. You have to think about that.
I have to think about it.
Right. Now, and they truthfully come to you and said, listen, it's important to me that I want to Minnesota represented like his constituents. So it's important to us that we put a black woman on. But you're the type of woman that we want. What's wrong with that?
Okay, so so let me this is how I'm weighing this. No, this is good. When you take seriously what Martin Luther King said, right, and what he stood for, and when he was talking about character versus color of skin, right? You want to make sure what he was saying, his message, and I think people misconstrue what Dr. Martin Luther King actually stood for. He wasn't saying, hey, let blacks allow us to be in everything, right? This is what he was actually saying was, get rid of this ridiculous system, Jim Crow, where it's legal to discriminate, legal to have racism. We got the rest. We'll become the judges. We'll build the businesses. We'll become doctors and attorneys. Just get rid of this ridiculous system that prevents me and stops the opportunity.
Or the government comes and drops a bomb on you.
So when when you have someone who's put in office simply because of the amount of melanin in her skin versus her actual ability, and I'm not saying she's not qualified. She proved herself, as far as her experience, qualified. But what I'm saying is that it goes against what he and so many people died for, right? Where it's about one of the factors of why she was chosen simply because of the amount of melanin in her skin. It erases her validity, I think, and it pays into her legacy, right?
Only if you're Republican.
Versus her having to climb
independent.
over
Both of you
versus
guys.
her having to climb over so many other candidates, male, female, whatever their tenure was and things like that. We'll always think or have to say, well, she was also chosen because she's black. You want to have that merit.
And I'm
to
okay
know.
with that. You both.
Also, Rachel says, rooting for you, Cicely Davis.
Yay,
And-
Rachel.
and-
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
we all are. I think.
It's different this time. It's different this
that
time.
needs to be a theme. It's different this time. You need to say that because
That's my theme.
it needs to be because if you get out into the community and you say that, I think folks feel that
Yeah.
because some folks do want something different.
Yeah.
And it may not be.
Oh, someone's asking if you think that
Wait a minute.
Kamala Harris.
First of all, wait. There's no Jamal in the place here.
Oh, did it say Jamal? It does say Jamal.
There's no Jamal in the place, so I don't even see that. Try again. Now, Cece.
Yeah.
Real quick too. That Tim Scott bill was the problem with that was that he started listening to too many Republicans and
Your boy signed off on it, Cory Booker.
but you realize
Yes.
wait. There was parts of it he signed off on, and then the parts where they didn't want to retrain the police or take out no-knock warrants or things like that. That's where it failed at. Cece,
Yes.
you're endorsed. That's
Yes.
important.
Yes.
Again, you know what? It's important because you are black. It's important because you are a female. Because I don't know how. Are you the first endorsed female in the Republican Party?
No.
Who else?
Barbara Davis White.
Who?
You don't remember Barb Davis White?
No, I'm sorry. I'm serious. I don't.
No, yeah. Like back in 2006, 2008, she was the endorsed 5th Congressional District candidate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, no, seriously, I didn't know that. So you're the second. So that's important to me, and it's important to folks that looks like us, right? And I hope that's important to you. Will you be? You get a because it's gonna be hard, right? We know that she's an incumbent. She's an effing machine. She's like Ivan Drago, right? But he did lose.
Ivan Drago.
He did lose, right?
Oh, now they're funny guys.
How will you? What difference will you be to folks that will give you a shot, to the Jamars of the world,
Yeah.
that will give you a shot? Will you really be a champion for us, or will you? Is this just lip service?
Right. And so many people on both sides ask me that, right? Because something clearly happens when you get to DC, and you become part of the DC VIP members club.
Yeah.
I think it's important to keep people like you close, right? I need someone who's going to challenge me. I also need to keep coming back. Remember that who got me there and who went in the booth and checked Cicely Davis versus Ilhan Omar. And I think that if you do that and you allow the people I will allow the people to hold me accountable. And remember that if they're not happy with me, they get to 2 years from now, they get to stroke me right back on out. And I think that people forget that. And we've seen right now we're dealing with a lot of political celebrities. They're all about raising their name recognition so that they can grift and make money and, sell their products or what have you. And we need to get back to what politicians were actually supposed to be, and that's representative of the people. So it's come back and come back often. It's check in and check in often, and remember who actually got me there. And so can't get there alone, right? I'm only one person out of 717,000, right? So it's
like
just
that.
keeping that. It's true. It's
I like
true.
that number.
It's
How you pull
gotta-
that? I'm one more question. I'm not being facetious.
Yep.
I ask every candidate this.
Sure.
If you lose, will you come back? Will you continue to build relationships with black and brown folks? Because it's
Yeah.
only 2 years. You can rerun. if you lose, will we still see you around?
You will still see me. Yeah.
I love it.
Because this is about investment in in people, and this is my neighborhood. I live here. I care about it, and so I didn't just step up out of nowhere. I did so because I actually care about the neighborhood. I care about the people, and I want to see Minneapolis at its absolute glory. And I think we can lead.
Word, absolutely.
I like that. You know what? I love having you on the show. You know, the first time that we had you on was really awesome.
I had my gloves on. I was ready to
Just a
fight.
warm, fuzzy
And I will say,
teddy bear.
listen, I'll say this is, you know, you've definitely been out there doing the work because, you know, you were kind of nervous the first time, and now like you know it. Yeah, you've been out there.
I need to work.
doing the
I need to work with you. You know,
my wife said you were very
his wife did say you're beautiful. I told you that out. You know, but hire my firm because we need to. You got some edges. We need to work.
Help me get blue votes.
Well, you know. Pay me.
I'll earn it.
Pay me.
I will earn it.
Pay me.
I'll
We'll
work,
talk. We'll
I'll
talk.
earn it.
Where can folks go? Help you, contribute, volunteer, whatever.
Yes, go to CICELYDAVIS.com, CICELY Davis.com, and it's at Cicely Davis MN for Twitter and Instagram.
Okay, one more time. Run it past.
CICELYDAVIS.com, at Cicely Davis MN.
And you will be back throughout the primary and throughout the electoral season. You'll be out. You'll be back, right?
All you got to do is ask. The answer is already yes.
Okay, well, word. You heard that. Man, I appreciate that. And thanks, CC, for coming on tonight, and bid you the best of luck. And, hire my firm. We'll talk.
Okay.
and we talk and text more than most people know.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We'll be in contact.
Thanks for having
That
me,
is
guys.
cool. Thanks for coming
Appreciate
on.
you.
AK, of course, bro. I mean, all the time, every show is always impactful, and I hope folks learn from it, you know. And having conservatives on like that, though, I love it. They're refreshing because they're different. You know, when we had Smith, Dennis on.
Yeah.
You know, he's one of. Remember, I told him that. You know, he talks different, and you know, I think you can. You know, you give me that. I like Republicans that talk different. That don't talk the same status quo, toting the water, talking different, because folks are tired of Democrats. But again, it's just like going to the dance or to the store with your cousin. I'd rather go with the person I came with than to go across the street and shake some stranger's hand. You know, you only know what you know, and you go with what you're most used to. And if someone isn't out there telling you what they're going to do better for you, then they just don't stand a chance. And so if you're correct about folks putting field offices in South Minneapolis, North Minneapolis, Northeast, or wherever in Minneapolis,
That's what they keep saying.
that would be
like,
big time.
So basically,
Because Democrats haven't done well.
Because
Yeah, we do
I
that.
literally keep asking this question all the time because you and I, we talk about
Yeah.
this stuff. I think that's the problem with the Republican Party is that
Outreach.
we have these like throwaway places. And so as I've been asking these questions to all these different Republican leaders, they keep on saying, no, seriously, like go and check out. I forgot his name, but
Let's try to get him on.
You might say that's actually we should.
Let's try to get him
I bet
on.
He would come on.
Let's try to get him on.
But yeah, he's talking about because he grew up, inner city, single parent type of stuff, and So
And folks that looks like us need to hear that. I'm not voting Republican, but listen, I will want to give the opportunity to the community to hear it. Folks will get mad at me. Democrats,
and also,
Ken doesn't like me anymore.
And from your perspective, actually having competition, you feel will actually make the Democrat politicians better. Because
Absolutely.
Then they actually have to do something.
They got to do something. They got to work now, right? And then they know for the next 2 years or 4 years, they got fire on their ass because that last candidate, they only won by the hair of their chin. Absolutely, bro. It's like sports. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I do not want a monopoly of Republicans or Democrats. I'm a Democrat. So, of course, I want more Democrats. But what I'm saying is when they're not doing anything, then it's time to elect other better Democrats, or if they so see fit, elect a Republican. But I want a Republican like CC. I want a Republican that I know I can go knock on the door, I can sit down and talk with and say, CC, let's do this. Yeah. And she say, no, that's against my conservative value. Okay, well, see, can we do some of this? You know someone that will compromise and work with you, not just toe the party line. And that's what's refreshing. And guess what? We need Democrats that do the same damn thing because we keep getting. What's the definition of insanity?
Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results.
And sometimes that's what we do as Democrats. Damn it! No more of that.
And we have a new sponsor, TakeCharge Minnesota. Remember, TakeCharge Minnesota. their goal is to restore a two-parent black family. It's their key priority to embracing the 3 foundational values of family, faith, and getting a better education for children. Take Charge Minnesota is releasing a film entitled I Am a Victor on May 6th, which chronicles the 2 cultural pasts followed by black Americans and the results of those 2 pasts over the last 50 years since the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. You can visit the film's website, iamvictor.com, to sign up, stay up to date on the latest news about the movie, and producer play the trailer.
What Martin Luther King did, that was pretty fast forward and just really changing the mindset in many people. The start of that, you're gonna treat a human being like another human being.
And that's a dream that I shared, and that's the road I thought we were on.
We are not victims.
Man, okay. Well, we'll talk about how I feel about that. But thanks to the great sponsor, TakeCharge, and we appreciate that very much. I got to do this. I didn't do it last week, so I got to kind of chime in. The mere thought and the mere ideal of someone beating a great incumbent like Ilhan Omar or President Biden, I think of this.
Man, Jenga's gonna kill that boy.
I'm Jamar Nelson.
And I'm A.K. Kamara.
We'll see y'all next week.